On behalf of our team at RDIEC, we would like to welcome Dawn Pratt. Dawn is originally from Muscopine Soto Nation and has been a professional educational consultant for over 20 years. She has pursued a lifelong ambition of becoming a chemist and passing on her love and passion for science to children, youth, and adults. In her professional career, she has responded actively to rectifying the lack of Indigenous STEM role models and indigenized STEM content that includes Indigenous elders and knowledge keepers, and cultural, linguistic, and land-based teachings. Thanks to Dawn for joining us this morning and to talk about her journey and also her newly created Indigenous-owned STEM company called Askenootow STEM Enterprise Incorporated. Just a reminder before we begin that after you watch this presentation, please complete the survey found on our website, either by using the QR code or go to www.rdiec.ca. By completing the survey, you are automatically entered to win a $50 gift card, which will be drawn for at the end of every month. On behalf of our team, thanks to Dawn, and you can begin.
All right. So I have developed my own website at Askenootow.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn, and you can find me on Twitter. So I put them in the heading, the first page here. So I'm from the Treaty 4 territory. I'm from Muscopine Soto First Nation, and it's located in Saskatchewan, just outside Regina, about 40 minutes northeast of Regina. And I'm a chemist by trade. I really love chemistry. Probably started when I was in grade 4. My parents bought me my own chemistry set, and my career just started when I was in grade 4. So I went to school, and I have a Bachelor's of Education from the First Nations University of Canada and the University of Regina. And then I obtained a Master's of Science in Chemistry from the University of Saskatchewan. And I've been doing science engagement, outreach, mentorship for like over 20 years. So pretty much first time I went to university, I started university. Previously, I worked as a science consultant at the Saskatoon Tribal Council, and I'm currently self-employed as a STEM consultant, which is STEM is science, tech, engineering, and mathematics. And I have a spelling mistake there, but I was working with the FSIN on developing and building their STEM outreach programming and engagement and outreach with teachers and students. And I've also done nuclear waste work in just pretty much creating awareness and listening to the opinions and the views of First Nations and the Métis. And I've done a little bit of different types of work. I've been an instructor. I've done science and chemistry and sessional instruction for the University of Saskatchewan, SIIT, for the First Nations University. And I also worked in the academic transitions and learning communities part in the University of Saskatchewan. So I've done quite a wide range of work. Also, I like to, I have 2 young daughters that I work with every day, and I help them with their, academics when they bring home stuff that they might be struggling with in math or science or literacy, and just always trying to push them to be the best. And I also take them on a lot of, I did on a lot of experiential learning trips to science centers. I actually took them to NASA in Houston, Texas. So we toured NASA, and we had a private tour guide who was a retired NASA rocket scientist. So he showed us all around the NASA Science Center, and it was really, really amazing. So whenever I have a chance, I'm usually just really taking my girls to different science centers and just getting them to see and experience it. So I've been to like the Calgary Science Center where they had the body world where they had animals inside out. So these were like dissected animals. So you could see the inside of an animal, all the body parts. And we also went to Edmonton, and we went to the Ripley's Believe It or Not exhibit, which was, yeah, so they so they get a lot of experiences, different types of science and just experiencing science. Here's just some pictures of us. The first one's the Animals Inside Out exhibit. I think that's an ostrich that was dissected. Here on the way to Calgary, we stopped in Drumheller, and I talked to them about how Drumheller is the dinosaur capital of the world. So they had a lot of big scientific questions. And then here again, there's on the right, there's a lot of, we were at the Animals Inside Out exhibit. That's a squid or something like that. Anyway, so my one daughter was intrigued, my older daughter, Charlie. The younger one, I'm not sure she's going to be that kind of a scientist because she was feeling a little sick after touring the exhibits. And then here's us again. I think this one was in, I think, Edmonton. They got to see the world's tallest man. We stood inside the mouth of I can't remember the name of that shark, but it's like an ancient shark, but that's how big his mouth was. And then the picture on the right is a picture of us. It's a picture of Albert Einstein made out of toast. So that was at the Ripley's Believe It or Not exhibit. So some of the duties I do, like some of the STEM consultant outreach work I do, is pretty much I had to learn the tech world online to deliver virtually. We've done teacher professional developments. We had to deliver the virtual science fair, and it was always just, you know, important that we always had clear communication amongst team members. And when we were on the computer, as it could get very confusing if you're not not everybody understands what's going on or the format of meetings. And I also just provide direction to programming. And I've been, you know, contacted by provincial organizations like the the Edmonton Science Center had reached out to me, asked me, had wanted to meet with me and discuss their new exhibit that they're planning to open. So they were just had a lot of questions, and then some national organizations as well. So I get people reaching out to me from different places. So my workspace, as you can see, lately it's been on the computer. So I've gone for SANOD panels, sit on a lot of panels and interviews like this. But really, I just love being out in science. So here's a picture of me. Looks like I'm touching clouds, but I'm at the Regina Science Center at the Joy Lab, the Science of Joy, which is really interesting. Here, this was some of my work where I was, this is I forget what kind of helicopter this was, but it was from World War II. So the students got to tour all the air helicopters and airplanes. They got to climb all over inside them. And this was a room that used for the electrical engineering aviation unit, I think at the SAS Polytech. And then here on the far right, it's just a picture of me at NASA. So I'm standing in front of one of like 5 or 6 rockets that are on a spaceship, and this is the inside of it. And they're very intricate, and I was really, really interested. I had a lot of questions for my tour guide, the rocket scientist. So yeah, it was really fun. But these would be some of my spaces I work in. And these would be some of the equipment I would be, just observing and climbing around and looking at. Some of the skills are like unhidden skills that I say skills they don't teach you in university is, you always have to adapt. The world is such changing so fast, especially now. And so just adapting and self-learning on how to learn technology like Zoom and WebEx and Microsoft Teams. Everybody works on, depending on who you're working with, work on different platforms. Social media, trying to get working on my own social media, but also like if I was working with FSIN, trying to help them with their social media, and just like nobody really teaches you how to market yourself or self-promote yourself in university. It's just all chemistry, and then you're forced to go out in the world and learn how to get a job and connect and network. And then also one of the things I like to do is indigenize science education or STEM education. So here I developed a graphic where I talk about the medicine wheel or the creation wheel, and how our elders, knowledge keepers, have always known about how everything is interconnected on Earth. So scientists call it the biosphere, but we knew about this like thousands of years ago about how everything's interconnected, and they call this area of study in science the ecology. And a lot of the like all texts I read, it doesn't even talk about our elders or anything. So I really just like to just see the intersections of science, pick out the intersections of where science and indigenous knowledges overlap. And this would be one of the areas I like looking at is ecology and the environment. Some of the best parts of my job, I have to say, is always creating innovative ways to engage and create indigenized STEM content. So you're always trying to find better, more engaging ways, and there's not really there's very limited, I guess, in lesson planning for indigenized STEM content. So I really like working in that area, just even on my own, and hopefully maybe be able to do a workshop maybe for FSIN in the future. I like always providing feedback and input to the STEM programming, any kind of STEM programming, whether it's FSIN or Edmonton Science Center or whoever reaches out to me. And I just help lead. I like leading the STEM outreach, and just, especially with the First Nation communities, I just, because I'm First Nation, and I see that there's such a big need for, Indigenous STEM role models and scientists. And so these would probably be the best parts. When I was working at the Saskatoon Tribal Council, I worked with somebody at the U of S. Her name was Kara Loy. She's not there anymore, but we partnered on this project called Mentor Step. It's still actually there it's still being run. It's run by the University of Saskatchewan, but this would be their partners in Saskatoon Tribal Council in the IMII. But pretty much we have, we try and look for female mentors in industry, whether they're Indigenous or non-Indigenous. The focus would be, priorities Indigenous, but you can't always find Indigenous STEM or mining mentor role models. And if you do, they're probably pretty busy. But this is one of the projects we had where we have the industry mentors, and they meet with university mentors, and then also grade 11 and 12 students who are interested in going into STEM academic areas of study. Also, they connect with industry mentors. So this is right now, looks like they have applications open for USask faculty to apply for funding to support a summer 2020 Mentor Step Student Research Assistant. So these mentees can get actual jobs in the summer and get their hands, already start getting them working in the areas that they're interested in industry. So this is it's called Mentor Step. So this is focused mainly on females who are Indigenous females who are interested in taking STEM classes and going on into industry. Challenges, I guess, I'm working I'm self-employed, so I'm always looking for work. I find it a little bit challenging in Saskatchewan. I almost want to reach out and go to another province, like maybe Alberta. The population is much bigger. And I found it very hard to find work as a chemist, like a pure chemist. I feel like you need more of an applied degree. My friend's highly employable. She has a chemical engineer education, which is chemistry and engineering combined. And so yeah, I found it really, and I find it that like when I talk to a lot of my friends that were chemistry, that I took chemistry, they also found it really hard, and some of them went on to like dental school, went on to more schooling. So yeah, so that's just some of the challenges I found. Some of the supports in PD, well, as mentioned in my introduction, I really like working with the elders and the knowledge keepers and the language keepers. I just really like listening to them because I feel like I learn the most. So my PDs, my PDs are really just whenever I get a chance to. Professional development is really when I get to sit and listen to elders. And this was one elder. I worked with him at the Saskatoon Tribal Council. He was a knowledge keeper, cultural keeper. His name was Albert Scott. So here he's given a presentation to the teachers on rocks, and he's talking about the planets in the solar system. And yeah, he was just really, really interested to talk to. And I found this graphic here of somebody, it says Betty Simon created this graphic of the planets with the names in I'm guessing that's probably Cree and the syllabics. So I thought that was wow, it's amazing. But this is my kind of professional development. Really, I'm just gathering information that I find or listening to the elders. That's how I learn, just on my own. I don't really think there's a PD for me that specific to really what I'm interested in learning about. Opportunities in this field is, I believe there's a lot of opportunities as a STEM consultant, but I find that it's not really, they have, like, of course STEM is an important issue, but I feel like there's a lot other issues that you're competing with. So I find that there's a huge shortage for Indigenous First Nation, STEMists or mentors or role models and teachers. So I feel like there's a big gap there. There's lots of work to be done. Advancement, I'm not too sure about that area. I've always just known what I like to do. So I like to do science education or STEM education. Not sure if I'd want to go, maybe I'd like to be interested in learning more of the administrative work of, besides just doing science education work. But I would like to just learn for the sake of learning, just to get a little bit more experience on administrative work. There's a lot of sessional instructor positions I've held. You could be a laboratory researcher, or like myself, an engagement coordinator as well. So these are just some of the jobs I've held, but I'm pretty sure there's probably lots more out there. But my focus is mainly on Indigenous First Nation students, teachers, and communities. And my hours, my work-life balance, really, when I'm a consultant, I just have a list of work that needs to be completed, or they give me a list of what they'd like to do, and then I just start to tackle it. And I don't have set office hours. I really just work, well, mostly during the day, but if they need me or any work done, I work in the evenings as well. um, Shifts, I don't really have to worry about shift work. Time off, like, pretty much I can just schedule how I need to. So if my daughters have appointments, I just take them to their appointments. Like, it's really, my schedule is really open, which is what I like, because I get to spend more time with my daughters, and I can just, I don't have to go through the process of getting time off to book an appointment and stuff like that. I just take the time that I need to do whatever I need to do with my daughters. Holidays, I get, as a consultant, your work is like in school, so pretty much you get like the weekends off, or you get the times off at Christmas time, or Easter break, because schools are closed, or teachers are not, the teachers are off too. So pretty much, like school holidays. Overtime, I don't really feel like I work too much overtime, really. Like, my schedule is really lax, which is what I like, because it's really hard sometimes, especially if I'm busy with my daughters, with school or doctor's appointments, or whatever I need to do with them. And this is the part where you have any questions for me. This is my great grandfather. His name was Askenootow. His English name was Charles Pratt, but his Indian name was Askenootow, and means worker of the earth. Earth is Aski. That's what earth is. Anyways, if you have any questions.
Thanks, Dawn. That was an awesome presentation. I think the biggest takeaway that I'm getting is just making that connection for students. And you've shown that through your own daughter's exposure to to the STEM fields and stuff like that, just the field trips. And I think that's so important to demonstrate to all students, right? And do you see yourself making a difference, when it comes to students? Are schools receptive to bringing you in and talking to students, or how do you deal with the educational part of that? Is there a way that we can help you, through our Industry Education Council?
I would say that, schools are interested, or teachers are interested, but it's just a matter of funding.
Yeah.
It's always come down to, like, the teacher. Well, I don't know, like, I'd love to have you in my classroom, but I don't have the funding to pay, because I'm on self-employment, so it's really not contract work. But I find that it's always funding. I would love to do, like, science, workshops for big groups of students and stuff, but that's actually can't do that right now. But when I was, like, I work with the FSIN, or I was working with them, and that's, like, I was able to have a reach, like, within the province. So, and he kept me busy, and yeah, it's just really, it's a highly needed area. But again, it's, you're competing with other areas that need help as well. And so it just, I don't know, it just really, I wish it was more importance was put on STEM education, just because I've seen in the past, I've watched over the past 20 years that we may have made a little bit of you see more, like, I can see more, but it's still, the numbers are still pretty low for students enrolling in STEM.
Yeah, and I think it's so important too, just, highlighting females in STEM. We see that a lot of times with trades, some of those male dominated kind of sectors too. There's an emphasis to really get the word out to young females that want to pursue careers like what you've done too. And we thank you for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, I really just enjoy my work, and I get to actually, you know, it's real. It's real
Yeah,
life. Like when I'm working with my daughters, taking them places and teaching them and showing them, and like they get to experience all these, amazing science centers and the NASA Science Center, Space Center. But
yeah.
so I don't know. I just feel like I think I just have to grow my own. But I get message. I got a message like the other day, last week, from another girl who, I forget what she was taking again, but she wasn't sure of continuing on with her STEM degree. And she's like, oh, wow, once I seen your profile and you're from Treaty 4. And she was just like happy. She felt
Exactly.
more inspired.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we would hope through to having this posted and promoting it with our students and our exposure, through our council. That's great. I'm not sure if Gord had a question. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Don. So you did your chemistry degree at U of S?
I did my bachelor's at the University of Regina and the First Nations University of Canada.
Okay.
And then I worked for a little bit in nuclear waste and did some instruction. And then I went on to do my master's in chemistry.
Mm-hmm. So as a chemist, when you come out with a chemistry degree, kinds of places that you would, tell kids who go into this area to apply, like I'm just thinking of some of the partners that we have, like we have a lady at the potash mine at K+S, and they would employ chemists. What kind of areas or places would you apply with a chemistry degree?
Probably apply to industry.
Within industry?
Like probably mining. I've never like worked, like I know my friend, she's a chemical engineer, so she was highly employable. I'm not like, as for myself, I can't really say it was like I've been here. I can't really say that I from what I remember applying to industry. So maybe I just lack the experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have liked to maybe get a little bit of work experience somehow, but it just never worked out for me.
Yeah, well, the work that you're doing right now, connecting, the science with the indigenous culture and creating those crossroads so that kids can see a connection, is absolutely key to really getting this next generation involved in STEM. And I want to thank you for that. And if there's things that we can do at the council here to ever support you, please don't ever hesitate to reach out. So thank you. It was a good presentation.
Thank you.
Perfect. I think on that note, yes, we'll end this presentation, and we'll just encourage students to, if they're interested in contacting you, they can definitely come through us, and we can make that connection with you as well. So on behalf of our council, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.